True crime isn't just about entertainment, it's about real people, real families, and questions that linger in the air for years, sometimes forever. These stories force us to look at the uncomfortable truth that sometimes people just vanish. The investigation that follows is a puzzle with missing pieces, a search for answers that might never come. We dig into these cases not for the thrill, but because a person is gone, and their story deserves to be told. It's a way of bearing witness to a life interrupted, a reminder that behind every headline is a human being whose absence has left a hole in the world, a void that their loved ones are desperate to fill with answers. On the cold night of February 9, 2004, a young woman named Maura Murray drove her black 1996 Saturn sedan into the White Mountains of New Hampshire. It was a Monday. She was a 21-year-old nursing student from Massachusetts, smart and athletic. But, something was wrong. She had told her professors and her boss at work that she needed to take a week off due to a death in the family. This wasn't true. No one in her family had died. Why she was driving north, alone, on a dark, winding road, is the first question in a long line of them. Her disappearance would soon become one of the most perplexing and widely discussed cold cases of the digital age. The case of Maura Murray is unusual because it starts with a clear, specific event, a minor car accident, and then dissolves into thin air. We have a time, a place, and a person. And then, in the span of just a few minutes, that person is gone. There were no obvious signs of a struggle, no footprints in the snow leading away from the road. The police arrived quickly, but Maura had vanished as if she were a ghost. This isn't a case where someone failed to show up for work and was reported missing days later. This is a mystery that begins at the exact moment a life veers off its expected path, leaving us all to wonder what happened in those crucial, unrecorded minutes. This essay will walk you through the story of Maura Murray's disappearance. We will stick to the facts as we know them, starting with what happened on that lonely stretch of Route 112. We'll look at the witness accounts and the initial police response. Then, we will step back and examine the days and weeks leading up to her trip, exploring the personal struggles she was facing. Finally, we'll consider the major theories that have emerged over the years and discuss why, even with so much attention, Maura's case remains a haunting, unsolved mystery. It's a story about a person, a place, and the enduring power of the unknown. The central event happened around 7:30 p.m. on Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire. It's a remote, tree-lined road, especially dark and quiet in the dead of winter. Maura's car, the black Saturn, slid off the road and hit a snowbank. It wasn't a severe crash, but the car was damaged enough that it probably couldn't be driven. A local resident, a school bus driver on his way home, saw the car and stopped. He asked the young woman, who he later identified as Maura, if she needed help or wanted him to call the police. She said no, telling him she had already called for roadside assistance. This was another detail that didn't add up. Cell service was almost non-existent in that area. The bus driver, Butch Atwood, felt something was off. Despite her refusal, he drove the short distance to his home and called the police anyway. He told them about the accident and mentioned the driver didn't seem injured but was cold and shivering. He couldn't see if anyone else was with her. The call was logged at 7:43 p.m. A Haverhill police officer was dispatched and arrived on the scene at approximately 7:46 p.m., just minutes after Atwood's call. But when the officer pulled up to the black Saturn, the car was empty. The driver was gone. There was nobody there. The police officer found the car locked. Inside, he could see Maura's belongings, including her backpack, textbooks, and birth control pills. On the back seat, there was an open box of wine. A damaged bottle of alcohol was also found in the car. But Maura's wallet, keys, and cell phone were missing. One of the most talked about details was a rag that had been stuffed into the car's tailpipe. Was this something Maura did to fake car trouble, or was it a sign that something had gone terribly wrong before she even crashed? The scene was strange and quiet, offering more questions than answers from the very beginning. The initial search started almost immediately. Another officer arrived, and they began looking around the immediate area. They searched the woods along the road, but the snow was deep and there were no footprints to follow. It was as if she had stepped out of her car and simply evaporated into the cold night air. The police thought she might be hiding, trying to avoid trouble for driving after drinking. They didn't consider it a missing person case right away, but as the hours turned into a day and then days with no sign of Maura, the situation grew more serious. The young woman who had refused help had disappeared without a trace. To understand what might have happened to Maura, you have to look at her life in the days leading up to her disappearance. She was a star athlete in high school and a promising student at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point before transferring to the nursing program at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. But beneath the surface, things were complicated. Just a few months before she vanished, she was caught using a stolen credit card to order food. The charge was set to be dismissed if she stayed out of trouble for 3 months. It was a minor incident, but it showed a crack in an otherwise perfect-looking facade. The weekend before she disappeared was particularly turbulent. On Thursday night, February 5th, Maura was working her campus security job. She was on the phone with her older sister Kathleen, discussing Kathleen's relationship problems. According to her father Fred, Maura became very quiet and then started crying. Shortly after the call ended, her supervisor found her in a nearly catatonic state, just staring into space. The supervisor had to walk her back to her dorm room. What caused this emotional breakdown? Was it just her sister's problems? Or was something else weighing on her? No one knows for sure what happened during that phone call. 2 days later, on Saturday night, another strange event occurred. Maura borrowed her father's new car to go to a party. Fred had come to visit her for the weekend. In the early hours of Sunday morning, around 3:30 a.m., she crashed his car into a guardrail on her way back to her dorm. The accident caused several $1,000s in damage. Her father found out later that morning. He said she was upset, but they planned to deal with it by getting accident forms on Monday. It was another sign of stress and perhaps recklessness, happening just 48 hours before she would disappear from a different roadside. On Monday, the day she vanished, Maura's behavior was a flurry of odd activity. She packed a bag with clothes, toiletries, and her college textbooks. She emailed her professors and her work supervisor, lying about a death in the family. She called to inquire about renting a condo in Bartlett, New Hampshire, an area her family used to visit. She withdrew $280 from an ATM, almost all the money in her account. Then, she got into her black Saturn and started driving north. She didn't tell her friends or her boyfriend where she was going. These actions paint a picture of someone running away. But was she running from her problems, or towards something else entirely? Over the years, 3 main theories have dominated the discussion about Maura Murray's disappearance. Each one has its supporters and its problems. The first theory is that she chose to disappear. Proponents of this idea point to her strange behavior before she left. The lie about a family death, the packed bag, and the inquiries about a rental property. Perhaps the pressure of her life, the credit card incident, the car crash, and maybe other personal secrets, became, just too much. In this scenario, she staged the accident as a cover and arranged for someone to pick her up and help her start a new life, possibly in Canada. The problem with the voluntary disappearance theory is that it's been over 2 decades. Starting a new life is one thing, but remaining completely hidden from everyone you've ever known for so long is incredibly difficult. Maura was close to her family. Would she really put them through this endless pain and uncertainty? And what about her finances? There has been no activity on her bank accounts or credit cards since that day. Living off the grid is not easy, especially for a young woman with no known survival training or network to support such a move. The idea that she simply walked away is compelling, but it leaves too many practical questions unanswered. The second major theory is that Maura succumbed to the elements. In this version of events, she crashed her car and, perhaps disoriented or worried about getting a DUI, decided to run into the nearby woods to hide from the police. The White Mountains are vast and unforgiving, especially in February. It's possible she got lost, fell, and became hypothermic. She might have hit her head during the crash and been confused. This would explain why no footprints were found near the road. She might have walked along the pavement for a while before turning into the forest where the snow wasn't as deep. However, extensive searches have been conducted in the woods surrounding the crash site for years. K-9 units, helicopters with thermal imaging, and ground search teams have scoured the area repeatedly. They have found nothing. No clothing, no remains, no sign of her at all. While the forest is vast, it is not impossible to find a person who has gotten lost, especially in the areas closest to the road. The complete lack of any physical evidence in the wilderness is one of the most baffling aspects of this case. It makes the theory of her getting lost seem less likely, though it can never be entirely ruled out. The third and most sinister theory is foul play. This theory suggests that Maura was a victim of a crime. After she crashed her car, She might have accepted a ride from the wrong person. A passing motorist could have stopped, offered help, and then abducted her. This would explain her sudden and complete disappearance from the roadside. It accounts for the lack of footprints or any sign of her in the woods. She wasn't on foot because she was in someone else's vehicle. This person could have been a local resident, or someone just passing through the area. This theory, too, has its challenges. Local police interviewed residents and people known to be in the area, but no credible suspects were ever identified. The window of opportunity was incredibly small, just a few minutes between when Butch Atwood left her and when the police arrived. For an abduction to happen so quickly and silently, with no signs of a struggle, would require a lot of luck on the part of a predator. Despite investigations into several persons of interest over the years, no one has ever been charged. The foul play theory remains a strong possibility, but it is one without a suspect, a weapon, or a crime scene. Maura's case occurred right at the dawn of the internet age of true crime. Her story spread through message boards, blogs, and later podcasts and documentaries. This massive public interest has been both a blessing and a curse. It has kept her story alive and generated countless tips, but it has also created a storm of misinformation, wild speculation, and conspiracy theories that have often hurt the investigation and her family. Armchair detectives have harassed witnesses and potential suspects, muddying the waters and making the search for truth even harder. Maura Murray became a digital ghost, her story endlessly debated by strangers online. Through it all, her family has never stopped searching. Her father, Fred, has returned to New Hampshire year after year, organizing searches and pleading for information. Her siblings have maintained a public presence, working to keep Maura's memory alive and advocating for new leads. Their persistence is a powerful testament to their love for her. The story of Maura Murray is more than just an unsolved puzzle. It's a story about the human need for answers, the pain of not knowing, and the hope that, even after all this time, a person who vanished into the cold night might one day be found.